Hello everyone, today we're going to create a product price calculator using Python and the library Tkinter. And with this program, you can see some buttons, some boxes that you can click just like the program that you can see on your mobile applications or in your PC or computer, just like software. Okay, and it this lesson, the video lesson, is also about the GUI, GUI, or what we call the graphics user interface. And to show you what's the example of this, let me just show you this program. As you can see there on my screen, a bunch of codes that you can see here. So let's run it first in order for you to see what's really this program can do in our software, or what it can do to see what it can do on our screen. Okay, so let me just run it. By the way, if ever that you would like to bring your terminal, I taught you before to click this terminal and then new terminal if ever that it's not on your screen. But what you can also do is you can click or you can press Control Shift and the forward slash or forward apostrophe. I don't know how they call that one, but just like that, as you can see on the screen, right? But there's another one which is pretty much easier and direct to the point, and that is Control J. So if you press Control J here, automatically your terminal will be displayed, and you can now interact with your program. So right now what we're gonna do is we will run this program and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so let me just run Python, because that's the way how you tell the VS Code that hey, I'm gonna call Python, and inside the Python there's a program name, or this is a file name GUI.py, okay, or graphics user interface.py. So when you press that, it runs, and this is how it looks like. So as you can see, there is a price calculator, or the product price calculator, wherein you can see the title here, and there are some boxes here where we can input some data, and pretty much the same with what we did before with the Python program. Asked what is your name, what is your age, and any other questions about personal questions that you might ask. But here, since this is about product price calculator, I just want to input details about products. So let me just put here an example fish, and then enter a price, let's say 45.6. This is something like a float. Float is a decimal number, so I put decimal numbers there. So, but if you don't want, it's okay. Still, the program will still consider that as a float or a decimal number. Then enter quantity. This is an integer, so this is like a whole number. So I have a button here wherein if I click that, automatically it will be the price and the quantity will be computed. As you can see on the program, which I will teach you later, the price is multiplied. This is how multiplication looks like in Python. It's either in other computer programming, I mean in PL, a programming language. So that's like a star. So it's a multiplication between the price and the quantity. And if you click that, automatically it will be displayed here on your table that I somehow put here in the middle. And automatically there's total already. So, and that 360 is the 45 times 8, or the price times quantity here. And then if I input another variable here, I mean input another data here, vegetable, and then price, let's say 76.9. I don't know if there's vegetable like that. It's too much expensive, and the price here of fish is too much low, cheap, right? And this is, let's say, 6. Now I have to input two details. One is for fish, the other one is for vegetables. And now each total is 316, the other one is 461.40. So in total, if you compute that, you can see here the final total, which is 821.40. And I'm gonna say that I paid amounting to 1000, and that's gonna be computed, and my change is 178.6. So that's what we're gonna achieve right now. We want to create a program like this, and I will teach you step by step on how to do it. Okay, all right, so let me just close this first. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create another program, another file. So let me just create another file here for a while. Okay, so the very first thing that we need to do, if we are here on our terminal, is to type in code and then out the file name. So let's make it code GUI 3, because I already created GUI 2 earlier. So let me just clear this first. Okay. All right, and then close this. Okay, so the very first thing that we need to do is we will create the so-called importing the library. Okay, and how are we going to import library? So again, the library that we're going to use here is the Tkinter. So by typing from Tkinter import star. So from Tkinter import star, that means that you are importing the library Tkinter. Tkinter is, just like I mentioned earlier, that it is like a toolbox wherein you can see, you can use all the necessary tools inside the Tkinter that could create boxes as well as buttons that you can click, just like a normal program in mobile applications or in computer on your PC. Now the reason why it is star here, it means all. So it seems like telling the computer that, hey, I want to use the tools inside Tkinter, and it's like using all the big toolbox, opening all the big toolbox and taking out everything inside. So everything that is inside the Tkinter, I'm gonna use it, something like that. Okay, so that's the meaning of that. Later we will use another portion or part of Tkinter, but for now, that's what we're gonna use. Okay, so let's get started again. So the next thing is we need to come up with a frame, which is like a window. We call it a window. Let me just type in here, window. Okay, equals TK, capital T and then small k. All right, so it means that what you're trying to achieve here is you're trying to tell the Python program that I want to create a window, all right, from the Tkinter. Okay, and window, I want to put title. Okay, and that title is product price calculator. Okay, and then after that, another window, but this time you're gonna put geometry. Okay, it's like mathematics, right? In geometry, this is like you are setting the size of the window that you would like to create. So it means that you could somehow fix it, or it's up to you if you don't want to fix it. But for me, I want to fix it to 900 by 700 pixels. Okay, now what does it mean? It means that I want to make it at least fix 900 by the width and 700 by the height. So this is width and this is height, the 700. Okay, and then in fact, even though that you set already the size, which is 900 times by 700, it is still somehow resizable, and I don't want that. I don't want to allow anyone or even the user to resize it. So therefore, I want to make it false and another false. And why did I put false and another false here? The reason why I put false and false, it's because this one is for the width and this one is for the height. I don't want to resize the width. I don't want to resize the height if I'm gonna use it or someone is using it. Okay, let's see what do we have right now. So in order for us to run it, at the end of the program, there must be a calling of main loop. Okay, so window, it's because we use window here. By the way, you can also change this into root, into any other name, as long as it doesn't use a global name in Python. It could be your name as well. So there's no problem with that one. But for now, I'm going to use window in order for me to recognize or tell the Python program that, yeah, I want window. Or somehow for me as well, in order for me to distinguish that this is for window, okay? So window main loop. Okay. Now if we can run that, so let's use again Control J, and then let's run it by using Python and then GUI 3.py. Okay, as you can see, this is what we have so far. Okay, so this is the window with the title product price calculator, and the geometry or the size for the width and the height is 900 by 700, and it can't be resized anymore. So as you can see, if I go to the edge of this frame or window, I can't resize it. But if I change that, let me just close this again, and I want to change it like, comment this out, Control slash, okay, yeah, this Control slash or backslash. It means that I'm gonna commenting out, or I am commenting out this specific line. So and save it, and then gonna run it again. So let me just show it to you. Okay, and now as you can see, if I hover over my mouse here, I can resize it right, just like this. Okay, which is I don't like, because sometimes it makes the frame or the design of the frame messy if ever that it does not fit. I mean, the size that you prefer does not fit to the entire contents inside this frame. So I don't like that. So that's the reason why I put false here, in order for me to protect the size and the design of the entire window or frame. So that's for the first part of our window for using Tkinter. Okay, so the next thing that we will do is let's put image or picture, just to make it a little bit more modern. Okay, all right. So in order for us to put image, we just need to use img equals photo image. Okay, photo image, and then file. There's my photo image and then parenthesis. The inside parenthesis, there's file equals and whatever file that you have on your folder, which this program also, you also save this program on that same folder. Okay, so in my case, so if I will open, let me just open a folder here and check if it is really here on my desktop for a while. Okay, so as you can see here, this is my GUI 3. This is the Python that I'm doing right now, and I have here a bugs finder png file. Okay, so therefore I want that to be part as my of my frame or my window, and be my image. So I'm gonna call this bugs finder, which is the image is like this, and put it on my screen. Okay, so again, just make sure that there's image on the folder where you are saving this same file or same program. Okay, they must be in the same folder, or else if you don't somehow want to put this in the same folder, you have to have a directory here. I mean, you mentioned first where can you find the specific folder and the specific image. But for now, I don't want to make it too much complicated. So what I want is just just put the same, I mean the image on the same folder just to make it simple. All right, so that's bugs finder .png. So make sure as well that the image format is really the same as the image that you have. So if it is JPEG or PNG, just make sure that it's the right one. Okay, and then if you want to check if it's really there already, just save that and then run it again. Let me just clear this so that we can practice Control J. I like this Control J, and then Python again, and then GUI3.py. Okay, so here it is, but still, as you can see, there's no image on the frame. How can we fix that? So the reason why we don't have image yet here, let me just clear this. Okay, it's because we need something, another set of line here which could display that image, and that is label. Then we call it the window because we use window here, window, and then comma image. I'll make it small. Okay, image equals img, comma again, and then I want to put background, but you don't need actually. But if for me, I want to put background which is white. Okay, you can also change color if you want other colors aside from white, but for me, I wanna put white. And then place, and place means it is the location of the picture or the image on your frame or in your window. So for me, I want to put x equals 50 and y equals 50. We know that in mathematics, there's the coordinate x and y in Cartesian coordinate system. It plays the same functions here as well. So if we're gonna run it to see what does it really look like, then we can try to change or replace the value of x and y here in order for us to see what's the preferred location of our image on the frame. So let's just run it first. Python GUI3.py. By the way, guys, if you don't want to type over and over again, just use this the arrow up and down because there's already memory recorded on your terminal of all the commands that you already input earlier. So for me, it's Python GUI3.py. If you run that, and this is what you see on the screen. So now, as you can see, there's an image already, okay, which is on that location. If I want to change that location, let's say I want to put it in the middle. Let's see. I want to make it like 150 here, or let me just make it 200, just to make sure that there's big changes. 200 on the x value and 200 as well on the y value, and then save it. And then let's try to run it again by pressing up, arrow up, Python GUI3.py. And then as you can see, it's not in the middle yet because this is what the 200 by 200 or 200x and the 200y means. This is the exact location for that one. But we can also adjust that. But for now, I don't want to experiment. You can experiment it on your own. Depends on your preferences. Okay, but for me, I want to make it 50 and 50 just to make this video lesson simple. Okay, all right, let me just clear this. Okay, let's just continue. We know already that the x and y, I mean the image is already on the 50 and 50 x and value y and the values of y and x. So now what we need to do is to put title label, okay, on in the middle. So it's different from the window title. This is the title on the middle, okay, of your program or window program. So let's gonna create a title, okay, label. By the way, guys, if you are just starting, I want you to use the strategy of having a how do you call that one? A pattern. Let me just show you how this pattern look like. Pattern is like this. So I used to put it here. So this is commented already. The things that I have to do. It's like to-do list. And these are the things that are parts of the program. Every time you do program, make it a habit if you are not yet familiar with how to create your own program. Make it a habit that you have this to-do list, because this would prevent you from being lost in the middle of the program. So let me just implement this. I'll just put it here because this is the first thing that we did. We set the frame. Oh no, this is not resetting the frame. This is here, setting the frame. So here is actually importing libraries. Okay, you don't need to do this. However, I recommend that you have this to-do list. So this is commented out, so meaning program cannot see it. I mean, cannot, we'll just ignore it and will not read it. Okay, here, I'm gonna put image. So hashtag put image or set image. Then here, hashtag put title inside the window. Okay, all right. So and then the rest, these are the things that I will do. So this is called main loop. This is what I'm doing here at the end. I'm calling the main loop. All right, so let's just continue. And the title label equals label, and then almost pretty much the same with what you did here in your image. You also call the label because that's how you display it on your frame or your window. So what should we put on the label title? So I want to put price calculator. Okay, all right, and I want to set font. You know what font is? Font is the letter. All right, the how do you call that one? The font style, the way how it is being the letters being displayed. So that's font. It could be Arial, Text New Roman. So it's up to you what you want. But for me, I'm gonna use Arial. So it's up to you. Again, there are different types of text or font. You can just see that on simple Microsoft document. So if you're not familiar with that, so there it is. Let me just check. Why? Oh, I see. Missed it. Okay. Okay, so here it is. So in order for me to place a title label, which is a price calculator, so which has a font of Arial and 16, I have to use label here. But let's see if we have it already. Let me just run it. Okay. And as you can see on our screen, it's still not here. It is because we still need to put another line here. And that is the title label again, which is the same, equals, no, not equals, but tag, okay, and pad y. Instead of pad x, pad means padding, okay, pad y, meaning on the y coordinate of your coordinate system in mathematics, the Cartesian coordinate system, y is, for me, I'm gonna make it 20. You can make it 30 if you want, but I want to make it 20. Okay, so let's see if it is on the middle. Okay, let's see, let's run again. Okay, yeah, there you are. So yeah, exactly, I'm in the middle, but again, you can just change it if you don't want that. If you want it to be here, so probably we can just change it. Let's make it like only one. Let's see if one would change the no, this is for the py, by the way. Yeah, pad y is like on the up and down, not the left and right, but you can also add pad x. Okay, all right, so let's continue. Close this again, and then let's continue. Now I want to create a function here. And what is that function? I want to create actually some the input text box. If you remember the one that I showed you earlier, that there's input for the product, for the price, as well as for the quantity. That's what we're gonna do right now. That's what we're gonna input right now. So in fact, you can start with the create input rows so that we could see if what does it look like first. So let's try product. So I want to call it product entry. Again, you can use other names if you want of the variables. I already mentioned this to you on how to change or name the variables. It's always up to you. Okay, but the thing here is that if we just put input here, this is how we do it, right? Before input, then on the window, then product name. Okay, now we also have the so-called price entry, input, window. Okay, this is not fixed, guys, because we're gonna change that as we create a function for this. And once we create a function in my previous, so again, just like I said, once you create a function, you will change something on the input method here. Okay, so but for now, we're just gonna make it like this in order for you to be somehow a bit familiar with some of the methods. But let's get started again with the idea. Okay, let me just remove something here. Okay, now what we're gonna put on the price entry. So probably enter price. I think that's much common. Okay, and then what's next? Quantity, or yeah, quantity entry equals input, then window. So you never forget the parameter window, because that's where you want to put that specific the text box as well as the label. All right, so for now we will just use this inter quantity. Okay, so and let's try to see if it is there, or if none, it's because we need to complete this function and we need to change some of the details here on the input method. But let's just see first. Let's run this one. So okay, so as you can see, there's something wrong. I mean error on the program on that part. So we need to fix that by creating the function. So let's create a function which we need to start from define our DEF. And let's say create input row. And here create input row. I just made that name, but again, it's up to you. And as I mentioned before in the previous videos, that if you want to have this 2 or 3 words combination, there must be no space, but you can just replace that with underscore. Okay, and inside this create input row function, there is what we call the parameters, and I want to put parent, because parent means this is the parent frame. I want to put that parent frame is where the exact frame is located. That's the main frame. Okay, because there's another frame that we could have, like for example, if you click certain button, it goes to another frame, and it goes to another frame again, it goes to other frames, so on and so forth. But this one, we are in the parent frame. Okay, so meaning the main frame. So, and the another parameter is label text. Okay, so I'm gonna just name it that way. Okay, those two variables. Okay, so the first one is frame equals frame, which is I call parent. Okay, meaning this is the main frame. Okay, next, another one is frame dot pack, which is a Tkinter extension or tools that shows or that somehow dictates the location of that specific function that you want to put, right? So pad y equals 5. So next is I want to create part of this function is the label, and the label has a parameter of the frame. What else? Text equals label text, which is part of the parameter, a variable. And I want to set here the font. So it's like this function is just setting all the specifics or descriptions of the things that you want to input here or want to put here. Like, by the way, I mean, this is wrong spelling. Okay, so you want to set the font of the label, you want to set the size, you want to set the frame. All of this is part of this function create input row. So it means that you're creating the description of this function create input row. Again, you can change this in anything you want to include, but for me, this is what I want to put just to make it simple. All right, so Arial, so same font style, and then I want to make it font size 12. All right, and then I want to put width. Okay, and anchor equals E. Now probably you might be asking, what is that anchor and then E? Well, remember that we're dealing with a frame that is also, we're also dealing with the Cartesian coordinate system for the y and x. So anchor is like east part, because we could also use N for north, south, S for south, W for west, and E for east. So in this case, we want to put it on the east side of this Cartesian coordinate system on your frame. Okay, so that's why you will use E for the anchor. Okay, next, label that tag. So you can just copy this function, guys. Then you can just change from time to time if ever that you are already confident in creating your own style. Okay, so this is padding X, which is the location of the X coordinate, or the horizontal part. Next entry equals entry. So here, what I'm trying to call now, or trying to describe now, is the entry. That is the product entry, price entry, and the quantity entry. So here I'm trying to define them with inside the frame, which is parent, of course, and their font is pretty much the same as the usual that I use, which is Arial, and size is 20. Oh no, 12, right? And I'm gonna put width, which is, I'm gonna make it, actually you can also make it 5, but later I'll show you to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so I think that's for now. Okay, and the last one, which is part of entry, is pack. So make sure that you always put pack. As you can see, every time you put something like a label, a frame, and an entry, you put also pack. Pack means to display it, all right? And to display it where? On the side of the left side, okay? So you can also change that into right side. It's up to you. Just try to experiment. Okay, return entry, and return entry is return this part. Okay, so let's try to see. By the way, just like I mentioned earlier, you change this and you call this function now based on the description here. So let me just change this and make it create input row. Same thing here, create input row, and same thing here, create input row. So what does it mean? It means that whatever the characteristic of this function will be applied in each variable that you use this same function, which you use create input row. Okay, so let's try to see if what does it look like now. Okay, so let's Control J and then let's run. Oops. Okay, this is how it looks like for now. Okay, so here we have this variable, I mean this the label. Yeah, that's the label, and we have here now the text box, okay, where we input our entry. All right, so since it's small, I want to make it a little bit bigger by changing this. Let's make it 45. So read here. Then let's run again. Just make sure that you always save it, guys, before you run it. So here now you can see what the long entry box. Okay, all right, so let's continue here. So let me clear that. Okay, now what we need is we need to start the calculator function. So here we need to define as well what should be calculated, and I want to calculate the total. It means that this first total is the price of the item plus, which is the price of the entry, plus at times the quantity. So it means that, let's say the price of the product is 10 pesos and 50 cents, and therefore I bought, let's say, 2. So therefore 10 pesos and 50 cents times 2, so that's gonna be this calculate total. All right, so let's start global final total. By the way, before we put the final total, let's not put final total first. Let's try first this calculate total. All right. Final total is another calculation for the final price if all the items were already added up. But for now, let's just use this first calculation or calculate total function. And in Python, we need to use try. Okay, it's not because you have to try it, but it's really how Python start doing the computation. Okay, if there are some values there, so you put price. I mean, you put try, and then the colon next price, because we're trying to call the price here price, and price is on the float type, data type. Okay, and what is in what we somehow what the value that dictates on this price is based on the product entry, I mean the price entry that you input here or the user input here. So we're gonna get that, so therefore it's price entry and then that get. So we are using the get method of the Python program. And same thing as well with quantity, not quantity entry, but quantity. So we're trying to create a variable for price, quantity, and the total, which coming from the value that we get from the price entry and quantity entry. Okay, so here we're gonna declare it as integer and then quantity entry dot get, meaning what we need to get what is being entered in this quantity entry. Okay, that's it. And we need to create total equals price, and this is the formula times. This is how in programming language multiplication, yes, the star as well. So there are two meanings for that. The first one is all, meaning if you import all, you use this star. But if you multiply again two variables or two numbers or more numbers, you can also use star for multiplication. So yep, so that's it. And the total label